So, in case you guys didn't know, Fran has shut down the family courts in New York. It's a glorious day, pretty much. Last week, Francesca Amato, the woman we all thought was completely full of shit, just spitting out sovereign nonsense, blowing her own court cases. We thought she had no clue what she was doing, and it turns out she was just playing possum. And she has finally shut down the Ulster County, New York family courts. It's a glorious day. It is a glorious, glorious day. So, how exactly did we get to this point where Fran has shut down the Ulster County family courts? I can show you. We're going to have to go back just a little bit. Let's go ahead and pull this up. So this is where, and we'll go over the document here in a minute, but this is where Fran and a group of like 7 people are serving Attorney General Letitia James. So let's just give this a little check
just kind
out.
It's not on you guys yet. It will be. Not yet. It's live. It's not on you guys yet. I'm just waiting. So hi everyone. I am here at the Letitia James at the Attorney General's office in Albany, New York. Guys, this is what you've been waiting for. We are starting to build a crowd right now, and they were waiting for us. Okay, so that we've got 3 state troopers behind me right here. You guys can see we are a peaceful protest, a peaceful demonstration here. What we're about to do is serve Letitia James because under her watch right now, families are being horrendously abused through the family court system. Federal crimes are being committed, and we're going to read this out loud today. But right now, I'm going to go inside and we're going to serve this beauty to our Attorney General, we the people who are the rightful bosses. These are all our public servants, and so we're going to go in and we're going to serve this first, and then we're going to ask everybody to go ahead and watch party this. We're going to ask everybody to share it with your friends list in your groups, and be sure to individually invite your friends list so that everybody can know what next steps are as we do this process right now. This is the lawful process. This is how it's supposed to be done. So we know that everyone's a victim. We know that I do this all over the nation. We know that I have police officers coming to me for help. We know that we have politicians coming to me for help. We know that we have families far and wide coming to me for help because the family court does not discriminate, abusing everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, a Republican, an independent. It doesn't matter what label you put on you. It doesn't matter what race, what religion you are. It doesn't matter how wealthy or poor or in between you are. Family court does not discriminate, abusing you and your families. And it is a treasonous organization. So we're going to go inside right now, and you guys are going to follow us. And I'm going to have, here we are. Let me just flip this for you. There it goes. Good. Okay, so you can take that gently like that and just follow us in.
Delicate phone.
Yep.
Get it, Fran. Go get him, Tiger. Watch party? You know, I don't even know how to set up a watch party, honestly. And Miko's in Facebook jail, so whatever.
48 hours on it that she has to respond to this. Thank you. You're very welcome. Now, I don't know if you need a file number or something for me, or
this is why we'll take it and pass it along. Thank you.
Okay, and your name is
Sharon.
Sharon, thank you so much, Sharon. Thank you.
She doesn't give one fuck who Fran is.
It's an angel in our time.
We got a few.
Francisco. God's tears formed into a human being, defending the innocent.
Defending the innocent.
And I'm just going to wait on.
The media?
Yeah, but I just need the
The media. Oh man, the delusions are strong.
I mean, I can. Would you like me to? Should I read it in there?
I think so.
Okay. So I'm sorry, guys. We're gonna come in here. Follow me in here.
I needed to lose weight.
Yeah,
That's
we're gonna
good.
read it right from here. Okay. See if you guys want to even take seats or whatever. Okay. So bear with us.
Hello.
Okay. So if you guys want to come, yeah, just kind of gather around. And we want to thank you guys.
Can we give first a round of applause for one of God's angels, Francisco?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I want to say I'm very grateful for all the wonderful people that are here. I know many of you as advocates as well. Jillian Gordon, I know she is a psychotherapist, and
I'm a clinical social
she's a
worker.
clinical social worker, and she also has been deemed an expert many, many, many times, and she has firsthand witnessed the abuses of the family court
Deemed an
judges, especially in Ulster
expert
County.
many, many, many
But
times.
She knows the pattern of abuse like nobody's business.
Patterns and practices.
Yeah, it's just despicable.
Which, by the way, we're not watching this whole video. It's an hour and a half long, and I got 3 other videos of her. But I will assure you, we will 100% destroy everything that she's trying to claim here. I got a whole bunch of fun court documents and whatnot.
But we have such a nice variety of families here right now and advocates, and I want to thank Anthony Sabelli over here, and
Nice to
just
meet you.
a lot of hard work put into this. Sarah, Dipper, and also she's not able to be here today, but Alicia, should I say Jackson, Alicia Jackson. We want to just thank her too. And guys, it's okay to have high energy in here. This is our house. This is our house, right? So first I'm going to just read right now before I tell you everything that we just did. We just served the Attorney General, Letitia James. We put her on notice orally, an oral putting on notice, as you guys may have watched on January the 8th, directly following the protest for the forcing of the vaccinations. And I want to
Okay, so real quick, just to kind of break this down as we go along. If you're confused with this whole putting them on notice thing, you're actually okay to be completely confused by putting them on notice. So what Fran and David Jose and all of these scammers that just kind of surface around all the CPS families, they have this claim that you turn in their sovereign affidavits. This is by no means their first affidavit, and we'll look at some of the other nonsense that they're doing. But they claim that you turn in these nonsensical documents, and when nothing happens, that's a good thing. They claim that this is the courts admitting guilt. It's really rather ridiculous. And I know a lot of normal people are like, well, that's utter bullshit. How are they possibly falling for that? And, you know, desperate times. They prey on desperate families. They prey on desperate people. And, I mean, desperate people do some crazy stuff. Honestly, I still think that this kind of stuff is equal to, like, crazy quack medicine of, you know, cure cancer with black salve and all this other nonsense. People are desperate, and so they'll try anything to try and get this stuff fixed. And Fran has even been making her little post. Silence is golden. 48 hours. Ends 1 p.m. Eastern Thursday. Letitia James. Service a state of emergency by the people. Praise the Lord. No response from Letitia James. This means she takes responsibility. Letitia James, we the people served you with a state of emergency, and today the family court is operating and harming New York families. So basically, the reason why they don't respond is because it's nonsense. It does not mean a victory on any level a lot of times sovereigns and Fran and everything that she is, because she's kind of a bastardized mix of a few things. They claim that they're under natural law, or basically God's law, which in itself is utterly ridiculous because they're going into state and federal courts talking about this God's rights, God's laws that wouldn't apply in that courthouse whatsoever. In fact, it's pretty doubtful that when God created the universe and all this stuff, that he also decided to make laws for man. But that goes back to like religious debates and the Ten Commandments and all that. But even then, it's a ridiculous argument. And so it's just right there, that's why they don't answer, because there is no way to answer this legally. Like it doesn't fall into any of the laws being practiced. It doesn't fall into family law. It's just nonsense mushed together. But that's like how the scam keeps on going too. With the first affidavit they were passing out, they told people that that's just the start for the second affidavit. Then when the second affidavit fails, there'll be a third affidavit. And so that's how they keep these people basically buying their bullshit, is they keep on telling them that this is the actual process for these things that have done absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. I think it was February last year. I think we're about a year, was the first time that you were supposed to turn in your opt-out, your immunity, because they claimed that you could 100% just be immune from the laws. And where that actually did stem from is a gentleman by the name of Bradley Stark. And it was actually a sovereign immunity request. And I've gone over this a few times, but I always like to bring this back up. The whole opt-out thing where you don't have to follow American laws was created by Bradley Stark after he was convicted in a federal court of, I think it was embezzling around $15 million or so. He was sentenced to a very long jail sentence. And then once he was sentenced, he started trying to do this sovereign immunity that has been turned down every time. It's been adopted by Fran's little friends, the Hooducks. And now they claim that it's everybody's ticket to just opt out of American laws. Just totally opt out. Why not? But again, this was last February. You were supposed to turn this in. She's recycled this. Like just a few months ago, they brought it back up saying, again, you should turn in your opt-out stuff. And again, nothing's happened. Like with everything that they've done or claimed to do, nothing has happened. Absolutely nothing. There is no putting them on notice and then something's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. Just like it hasn't happened on any of the past things that they've done. Like, absolutely nothing. This is literally nonsense that they're tricking parents into handing over to judges, and it's a little bit amazing to watch. I give them credit, that's for sure, because I don't even know how they're still this dedicated to such nonsense, but it's something. Oh, let me go ahead and switch that. There we go. So let's let her do just
read something from someone that I'm going to quote in a minute. But what we did is we served, this is a sworn affidavit, and it is in support, and I have to read it, sorry, of number one, to demand to cease and desist and repeal the New York State family court system effective immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yes!
Number two, criminal complaints and demand for immediate criminal prosecutions of individuals mentioned in Exhibit B, but not limited to. So I will read the judges' names off shortly. Let me just quote this first. This is something that I found on the internet. I believe this gentleman's name, and I don't want to mispronounce, is John Sinkhead. and he's from Branford, Connecticut. And I found this quote. He said, "The general misconception is that any statute passed by legislators bearing the appearance of law constitutes the law of the land. The United States Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and any statute to be valid must be in agreement. It is impossible for both the Constitution and the law violating it to be valid. One must prevail." This is succinctly stated as follows. The general rule is that an unconstitutional statute, though having the form and name of law, is in reality no law. In legal contemplation is as inoperative as if it had never been passed. Such a statute leaves the question that it purports to settle, just as it would be had the statute not be enacted. Since an unconstitutional law is void, the general principles follow that it imposes no duties, confers no rights, creates no office, bestows no power or authority on anyone. Did you know we're free? And affords no protection and justifies no acts performed under it. A void act cannot be legally consistent with a valid one. An unconstitutional law cannot operate to supersede any existing valid law. Indeed, insofar as a statute runs counter to the fundamental law of the land, it is superseded thereby. No one is bound to obey an unconstitutional law, and no courts are bound to enforce it. So the word of the day is, I for one will refuse to comply.
Yes, I refuse.
Okay.
Fight the
So
power.
with this document, you guys can add your own amendment to it. You can add your own judges and CPS fraudulent workers, anybody that has been involved in quote unquote family court cases. You guys can email to this office, the Attorney General's office in Albany, New York, and you will be added to this. So just this would be your heading. And when you email me, and I will have the email on this live feed shortly, when you
No,
email
she
me, I
is not
will
a
share
lawyer.
each copy with you, including all the laws that they have violated for 6 decades. And once I do that, you guys can add your own notarized under oath copy to this because we are demanding prosecution of these so-called family court judges.
Abolish and arrest!
Amen. The people of the state of New York demand that you, and this would be Letitia James, respond within 48 hours to rebut the following information provided in this affidavit. This is formal notice on the continued and unfettered abuse and lack of accountability of the New York State family courts. Their use of Social Security Title
they got
IV
confused on-
programs is directly responsible for the trafficking of children. In the state of New York, as well as committing serious human rights abuses and crimes. If you believe that any of the information, claims, reference of laws are untrue, please rebut this affidavit and contract point by point under the penalty of perjury, as well as under oath or affirmation with jurat. If you fail to respond to rebut this affidavit contract, you agree to all the terms and conditions within. Hence, this contract will stand as law. You may rebut this affidavit by sending your affidavit to the
let's
mailing
just
address
stop right
above.
there. All right, this is one thing, and we've gone over this multiple times. Affidavits, Jesus, it's not a contract. It doesn't do anything. An affidavit is a sworn written testimony, is what it is. It's not a contract. Like, not in any way, shape, or form is an affidavit a contract. It's not. Just because you write an affidavit and hand it to someone, that's not a contract. That is 100% insanity. That means that I could just write an affidavit saying, your house belongs to me, I hand it to you, and now that's a contract and your house belongs to me. That's not how anything works at all, especially an affidavit. And that's so simple. This is something that is so simple to do. Just Google search what is an affidavit. That's it. I mean, if you're even debating on doing any of this affidavit nonsense that they've been talking about for the last going on 2 years, however long it's been now, just Google search what is an affidavit. It's not a contract. It's not even a motion. It's literally a written statement. Like, it is the same. It is damn near the same as doing an on-oath testimony verbally. It is a statement. That's it. That's it. You don't make demands in an affidavit. You don't make contracts. That's it. I wonder, should we let her go a little bit more? Because I actually do have her affidavit as well. Her state of emergency affidavit, which that in itself, again, does not make any sense, as state of emergency would not be done on an affidavit in any legal government system. And see, this goes back to the point of why these people don't answer, why these judges, why these attorneys, why people that actually have an understanding of the law don't answer, because you can't answer something that is total nonsense. I mean, you can't answer this. It's an affidavit is not a state of emergency declaration. That just isn't how any of this works. Let's let her go for another
And that would be
minute or
a
two, and then we'll look at
protecting,
her affidavit.
and we the people, which is all of us and all of you. The people of the state of New York demand and recommend that together we, 1, effectively abolish the New York State family court system as it is, arrest the judges for knowingly committing crimes against children and families, and engaging in other nefarious acts. You guys.
Yes! I like.
Number 2, using.
If you I just remembered this one lady. If you listen, I'm sorry, this lady cracks me up though. If you listen whenever they clap on most of these times, like from here on out, there's this one lady that's just like, yes, yes. she cracks me up every time. Try and listen for her on these next ones.
Your resources as New York State Attorney General, have your office demand criminal investigations immediately, so that state, local, federal crimes, constitutional violations, and human rights abuses no longer happen during your time in office.
Here she comes.
If any statement...
Yes!
If any statement within any law which is passed is unconstitutional, the whole law is unconstitutional. That is Marbury versus Madison in reference to the U.S. Constitution.
No, it's
In
not.
quotations,
Not
no
at
provision
all.
of the Constitution is
Not in
designed
this
to
pretense
be without effect.
whatsoever.
Anything that is in conflict is null and void of law. Clearly, for a secondary law to come in conflict with any supreme law was illogical, for certainly the supreme law would prevail over all other laws, and certainly our forefathers had intended that the supreme law would be the basis of all law, and for any law to come in conflict
dude's happy
would
as
be
shit.
null and void of law. It would bear
Amen.
no power to enforce. It would bear no obligation to obey. It would purport to settle as if it had ever existed. For unconstitutionality would date from the enactment of such law, not from the date so branded in an open court of law. No courts are bound to uphold it, and no citizens are bound to obey it. It operates as a mere nullity or a fiction of law.
What a nightmare.
1. Judges in the New York State family courts are empowered with the sound discretion.
Man, okay, so, God. All right, let's see what she's reading. This garbage right here, which again, anybody, if you're doing the Fran stuff, if you're thinking about doing the Fran stuff, you're thinking about doing any of the affidavit stuff, again, just start first by learning what an affidavit is. Like, that's simple. They can't show any court papers of any victories, but I can show court papers of Fran's losses. But they can't show anything where this shit has worked anywhere. Because it doesn't. Plain and simple. It just doesn't. But again, if you're thinking about doing any of this crazy affidavit nonsense, just look up the meaning of an affidavit. An affidavit would never, ever, ever, by anybody that knows anything about the law whatsoever, be used to declare some sort of imaginary state of emergency. My best guess is that this was probably put together by the lovely guys over at E-Clause, Chris Hallett and Kirk Pendergrass, which they actually just learned today that Field McConnell, they could have bailed out of jail pretty simply, but that's a whole different story. But pretty sure that this was probably put together by Hallett. I'm not saying for sure, but this is the sort of nonsense they're both pushing. And here's another thing too. There was John goddamn Gentry, over in, where was John? John Gentry, where were you? I can't remember where he was out of. Nashville. I'm pretty sure John Gentry's out of Nashville, out of the Tennessee area. John Gentry, forever, he was linked up with this Kirk Pendergrass and this Chris Hallett, these other two frauds who claimed to be part of the Pentagon's pedophile task force, which was started by another lunatic, Timothy Homeseth, and they claim that was made by Donald Trump, which it wasn't. It doesn't exist. It's a completely imaginary thing. So Hallett and, I forget where I was going with that. Hallett and John Gentry and Kirk Pendergrass. John Gentry started out of nowhere with these two idiots, decided, hey, we're just going to start filing remonstrance. It's, you know, they hadn't been used since the 1800s, but we're just going to hit them with remonstrances. Because why not? John Gentry claimed that the remonstrance he had put together, which I read it and I've talked about it before, it was a nightmare. It was not a legal document. It was completely ridiculous. He didn't know what he was doing whatsoever. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I've seen enough legal documents at this point I can at least tread water through. And even where my level of law understanding is at, when you saw John goddamn Gentry's remonstrance, you knew that it was nonsense. Basically, he was trying to shut down the bar and basically the Tennessee government. He was just going to shut the whole damn thing down because he lost his divorce. And then he said he apprenticed under his wife's attorneys by watching them ruin him in court, which doesn't work like that either. But whatever, that's where John Gentry got his legal background, was watching his wife's attorneys own him in their divorce proceedings. And so he decided to put together this remonstrance, and we tried to tell him for months that this is nonsense. This is just literally word garbage, not even word salad, just word garbage. And he didn't want to listen, and finally he turned it in, and the Tennessee legislature told him this is nonsense. You don't understand how the law works. One of the biggest things with his remonstrance, which you'll still hear, you hear Fran talking about remonstrance, you hear a few of these guys talking about remonstrance. One of the biggest problems was that he didn't even talk about Tennessee. Like he was accusing Tennessee of all these things, but didn't point out one single case. Like, he was talking about things that happened in Florida, which would have absolutely no bearing on the Tennessee government. Like, absolutely none. And that's the same sort of nonsense that you're seeing in this state of emergency affidavit that Fran turned in. They just make general claims, no evidence, and you're not even really sure where they're talking about with this. It's nonsense. It's 14 pages of pure nonsense. So we'll just kind of skip through. The people of the state of New York demand that you respond within 48 hours to review the following information provided in this affidavit. Remind you, there was like 10 people standing in a hallway. That's not the people of New York. It's extremely, extremely doubtful that Fran had anywhere near 1% of the population backing this insanity, let alone anywhere around 50% or anything like that. I mean, shit, this is nonsense. This is formal notice of the continued and unfettered abuse and lack of accountability of the NYS family courts. NYS. New York State. Okay. Their use of Social Security Title IV programs is directly responsible for the trafficking of children in the state of New York, as well as committing serious human rights abuses and crimes. Now, you see, something like that is a very serious accusation. So, and I'm not saying that it's not true. See, that's one of the things. And I've been thinking about doing something else on these guys, but like with Cynthia Absig and Melissa Deagle and all of them, they talk about how they're punishing these guys for exposing this huge thing and of trafficking and all this other shit. Fran always claims that she's exposing this huge human trafficking ring. And you know what? I just want to show you guys something that fights all of that. So I am literally Googling in front of you guys. I just Googled foster to human trafficking. This isn't a secret. They're not exposing anything. It's actually very well known and common knowledge at this point of the foster to human trafficking system, and same as the foster to prison system. I mean, this isn't exposing anything. Melissa Deagle is not exposing anything. Cynthia Absig is not exposing anything. Francesca Amato is not exposing anything. Now, if they have evidence, say some video of like a judge shaking someone's hand to sell a group of foster children to human traffickers, that would be exposing something. As far as just wildly claiming foster care is trafficking children, there's nothing to expose there. It's already out there. This is just a Google search. This isn't even actually looking for anything. I mean, it's a very well known fact that foster children often end up in human trafficking situations. It's a very, very well known fact that foster also leads to prison. I mean, there's a pipeline set up, and there's a lot of issues within CPS, but these idiots running around is not helping fix any of it. But we're on page 4. This is page 4 of about 14,400,000 results. So that's a lot of results. You're saying 14 million, over 14 million results came up when I just typed in foster to human trafficking. That's not even a deep search. Again, I can't stress enough. Melissa Deagle, Cynthia Absig, Arlena Willis, David Jose, Francesca Amato, just by making random claims that foster system traffics kid does nothing. It's a known fact. It's been a known fact for a very long time. That just is what it is. So again, I'm not arguing the part that the system's broken and all that good stuff. It's clearly broken. The problem is, before even trying to address that, some of these people are taking advantage of people and turning in this crazy stuff like Fran and these affidavits and David Jose and Chris Hallett and Field McConnell. I mean, this is getting nuts, and it's not helping anything at all. You got people going to jail for kidnappings now. You got people rallying for, I mean, these guys like Michael Volpe, James North, or whatever the hell his name is, from Northwest Liberty News. All these guys are literally ignoring children, victims, that are saying, hey, my mom was doing this, and they're saying, no, shut up. You're being told to say that because we need this story to look like this. We need to push this as every single person is innocent. Every parent ever is innocent. It's really sick. It's really sick and it's really twisted. But, you know, it is, most of us already know that for a while now. Anyways, let's get back to this. Oh, where were we? Does it even matter? I mean, honestly, does it even matter? No, none of this means anything. It's garbage. People of the state of New York demand and recommend that together we effectively abolish the New York State family court system as it is, arrest the judges for knowingly committing crimes against children and families and engaging in other nefarious acts. Using your wet resources as NYS Attorney General, NYS AG, yeah, that's how you can tell this was probably like Hallett or somebody. This is, I don't know why you would address her as NYSAG, but whatever. Have your office demand criminal investigations immediately so the state, local, federal crimes, constitutional violations, and human rights abuses so no longer happen during your time in office. Yeah, this was probably Hallett, because he's trying to apply Marbury versus Madison and whatnot. This isn't what any of this means. Judges of family courts are empowered with the sound discretion to evaluate the credibility of witnesses while acting under color of law. Best interest, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So this is... I actually haven't even read through a lot of this yet, but I knew what this was going to be. So it literally is just a bunch of random claims. I mean, there's no evidence, there's no supporting evidence to back anything that they're saying about any of these judges. I'm not saying that it's not happening on any level. I'm saying that these guys are failing to provide it on any level, and they're failing to provide it inside a document that wouldn't do anything even if they did provide it. They're never going to get a response from turning in an affidavit like this. But she puts links to her own videos, which her own videos don't prove anything. Again, that's Fran just making allegations. On January 8th, 2020, Francesca Amato, punished for protecting, and 2 other witnesses appeared before members of your office, Cassandra Walker, the associate director, blah, blah. While thousands of New York families chose to stand up for their inalienable rights. Okay, that's not true either. That's not true. There wasn't thousands of parents there. But, you know, okay, and see, this is the thing with Fran, that I'm surprised a lot of her followers have not caught on to this. The reason why Fran is always talking about Judge McGinty and Ulster County and New York is because she's going to go to jail there. And this is a claim that she denies. She denies it a lot. But there's really no denying it. What's going on is back in, I think it was 2015, and this is what Fran had court for yesterday. Fran went to court yesterday, and this has been an ongoing case because she actually appealed the loss. Appeal from an order of the Family Court of Ulster County, Judge McGinty, entered January 31st, 2017, which granted petitioner's application and proceeding pursuant to Family Court Act's Article 6 to hold respondent in willful violation of a prior order of custody. Respondent, hereinafter the mother, and petitioner, hereinafter the father, are the parents of the son, born in 2007. In 2015, the mother and father filed competing petitions to modify a prior custody order under which, as relevant here, the mother had primary physical custody of the child. In October 2016, family court, among other things, awarded the father sole legal and physical custody of the child and awarded the mother's supervised visitation with the child. So in all reality, Francesca, that's out here talking about parental alienation and all this other shit, has literally been alienating her child's father for years. And she's just been filing, she's on her last leg with her appeals. Yesterday was court. I believe I saw that February 11th will be her next court date. And she's representing herself pro se, which is something that has already turned out bad in the past. This is a lawsuit that she filed again against Anthony McGinty, Judge McGinty, who ruled against her and said that she's not the parent of her child. I mean, yeah, her son's father has full custody of the child. And she actually tried to run with the child. So she claimed here that Judge McGinty that he was causing her emotional damage or some shit, and she was thrown off this case. She tried to claim that she had real stuff being filed, and this is just the stuff she puts out to the public. That's not true. She keeps on doing this pro se nonsense, and she just keeps on getting her cases thrown out because she doesn't know what she's doing. She literally has no clue what she's doing, but yet somehow is tricking people into paying her $50 for a consultation. Amato merely alleges in conclusory fashion that defendants knew of her disability and need for accommodation, but similarly, Funk alleges due to the court's sick actions, and she was is unable to conduct herself as expected in the litigation, but she too fails to allege what recommendation she requested from any defendant. Like Amato, Funk merely alleges in conclusory fashion that defendants knew of her disability and need for accommodation. So basically, in this case, what Fran was doing is just like they were doing in the state of emergency thing. They're just saying, hey, this happened, but they don't provide any evidence as to why it happened. It's just, hey, this happened. And so you need to believe that, and that's why you need to do what we say, because this happened. And then the actual legal people are like, well, that's not how this works at all. You didn't even show us how this happened. We provide no evidence whatsoever of how this happened, or that it even did happen. You're just making claims. So Fran actually ran with their child. And what was it, back in 2015, I believe she actually ran with the child, going back to this current custody / jail thing, which Fran claims that she does not have jail coming. The October 2016 order also imposed a 60-day jail sentence upon the mother, with the term being suspended so long as the mother complied with the order and delivered the child to the father within 10 days of being served therewith. In January 2017, the father filed a violation petition seeking to hold the mother in contempt based upon her failure to comply with the terms of the October 2016 order. Following a hearing, family court found that the mother willfully violated the October 2016 order and ordered her to be committed to the Ulster County Jail for 60 days. The mother appeals. So that's what you're seeing right now with her court cases. This is her appeal. This is her last shot of not going to jail for 60 days and the son's father getting custody of her child that she's completely alienated from. Everything from the kid's father seems all right. It seems like she's been lying a bunch for years. She's just been trying to bash him. She's crazy obsessed with the idea of trying to completely alienate him away from her son's life, even though in countless lives you see her pushing her kid out of the lives, telling him to get out of the lives. She's too busy with this Facebook Live nonsense, trying to scam people to actually be there for the kid. So, I mean, it's really ridiculous. But this is a woman that's offering people help. Like, she literally cannot even win her own custody battle. And this isn't even against the state. This isn't against CPS, who's going to hit a lot harder than your ex-husband. This is her custody battle that she lost. If she can't win her own custody battle against her kid's father, chances are she probably can't beat CPS in a courtroom. Yesterday was the first day of court. She is representing herself pro se because, fuck it, why not? I mean, if we're going to take this ship down, let's take it down. The court's been continued till February 11th, I believe it is. And it's going to be a 3-day trial in total. I'm not really sure why they spaced it out like that. It could have something to do with her appearing in court and claiming some sort of needing a little bit more time. I know that she's been buying time as long as possible. Like, she doesn't want this court date to go through because then all of her followers are going to see how full of shit she is when she's thrown in jail for 60 days. And I imagine at least a handful of them will talk about how she's in jail because she was going to take the system down and they had to stop her and blah, blah, blah. Some of her more hardcore fans that are really just super detached from reality, they'll keep on pushing that sort of narrative. In reality, it's because she has no clue what she's doing and she's going to go to jail for 60 days, at least. That's to say, if this appeal and some of this nonsense didn't get her some more charges, that could have happened as well. So, in all reality, Fran could end up with more jail time, I would imagine, but that also just depends on if she really pushed anything. At the very least, though, she is holding a 60-day jail sentence that has not been served, and also her son's father has custody of the kid. She's allowed supervised visits, and you got to realize that too. That shows that Fran's definitely had a problem for a minute. Her kid's dad was given full custody and she was given supervised visits. Like, they didn't even do 50-50 custody or anything like that. They didn't give her partial custody. In 2016, they straight up said that you can have supervised visits. That shows that there is definitely some problems going on there, and given Fran's terrible actions over the last 4 years now, since that's happened, chances are it's not Judge McGinty. Chances are it's probably Fran, because she's a pretty terrible person all around. Let's see. Contrary to respondent's assertion, the record evidence supports family court's determination that she was properly served with the October 2016 order via her designated agent for service. To the extent that the designated agent denied being served with the October 2016 order, family court did not credit her testimony. Moreover, the mother had notice of the October 2016 order at the latest by, and then that's blank, this court state enforcement of family court's order of commitment pending this appeal by the middle of December 2016. In this regard, she testified that at that time she learned of the October 2016 order through her social media account and immediately hired an attorney. Which, remind you, Fran is the one that keeps on telling you not to hire an attorney. Remember, all attorneys are corrupt and evil and all that other shit. Claims here that she ordered or hired an attorney, but now she is representing herself pro se. My guess would be is because she can't afford an attorney. She did not, however, return the child to the father. Furthermore, when the mother knew there was a charge in custody pursuant to the October 2016 order, she still refused to return the child to the father. In view of the foregoing, the father established by clear and convincing evidence that the mother willfully violated a lawful order. Finally, the mother waived her argument that the father's contempt petition was facially deficient by failing to raise any objection thereto and by appearing and defending against the petition's allegations. Let's see. In any event, the petition satisfied the requirements of judiciary law, nor do we find merit in the mother's contention that the imposed jail term was excessive or stemmed from an abuse of family court's discretion. The mother's remaining contentions have been examined and have been found to be without merit. Notwithstanding her testimony, we note that the mother, in her brief, stated that she received notice of the October 2016 order towards the end of November 2016 order, that the order is affirmed without costs. So that's what's going on with Fran. That's why she's been tricking a bunch of you guys to go after Judge McGinty and to go after Ulster County and all this other nonsense, because she is going to jail there. Because she lost custody of her child there. She's been fighting all of these legal things that happened and alienating her son's father while she completely ruins other people's cases. And yeah, I did see in the comments she ran for governor, which she did run for governor as a write-in. Everything that she's claimed, nothing has happened. She didn't even actually run for governor. She did a Facebook write-in campaign that probably ended up getting her around 6 votes, but she would tell you she got thousands. So it's just a long history, one after another, of not doing anything. Let's see, back to their nonsense. For a crime to exist, there must be an injured party, blah, blah, blah. Families and children negatively affected in so many unconscionable... Okay, and now see, look, this is what they're talking about with conclusionary statements. Like these are statements that you would give at the conclusion of a court case. Like, this is a closing testimony. What they're missing is anything that's actually showing the evidence of their claims. It is irrefutable, to say the least, that our elected and government officials typically do not have the conscience or human decency to respond to us adequately to adequately address this issue. It is well-known fraud, and they want to stay far away from speaking about it. Thousands of parents and child victims of this system are connected every day through the United States, whether that be through social media, conference calls, or through court watching for each other. While all levels of our government have chosen to turn a blind eye, the people, which is capitalized for whatever reason, continue to support on another. It is the most common response to our efforts in seeking assistance and in seeking accountability to hear that it is a civil matter, or that they, the investigative agency, or public officials do not have jurisdiction over the matter. Here's a short list just to name some of the investigative agencies that have ignored the countless victims of the abusive system. Okay, but there's no... Okay, so here's just an example, just with this. So right here, what you would do if you're trying to give this any sort of legal bearing whatsoever, which first off, you wouldn't put it in an affidavit. Chris Hallett, Fran, if either of you two see this, at least file the right documents. Not everything requires an affidavit. But if you even wanted to try and give this any sort of chance, even still just a chance, like right here with these accusations, you would show some emails put in, some email conversations. This is where we turned in this, and here was the evidence for them ignoring this exact crime. Here's the evidence of that crime. And you would actually prove in this where a crime was ignored, and then when they turned in all that information and refused to look at that crime. I mean, there has to be something. They're not showing anything. This is, and that makes, I never really thought about it like that before, but yeah, what they're doing is their conclusion testimonies, because they don't understand how any of this works, and they don't understand the whole providing evidence and proving the actual allegations that they're claiming. Like that, this would never work anywhere. As the Attorney General of the State of New York, you, Letitia James, can stop this immediately. We, the people of the State of New York, would appreciate if you did so immediately. So just stop it is what they are legally requesting. And they're requesting that she stop it immediately. While there may be some need for Department of Children and Families, the current system is entirely tainted and doing more harm than good to the people that it is intended of protecting. Okay, now see, like right there, that would be a good place to provide some evidence. Again, That'd be a great place. Branch off, put some evidence, actually show what you're trying to claim. Due to these family courts not being courts of record, it is very common that judges are accused of creating false court records and other frivolous orders. Again, a great place to show some evidence of this stuff. Due to the judicial abuse of the unsupervised free-for-all, we have parents who are barred from seeing their children based off of lies, parents accused of neglecting children, and they never even met, as well as parents who are threatened with jail due to them taking their children to the doctor for very concerning issues. Jesus. We're definitely not reading this whole thing. Okay, and they quote Hitler, Mein Kampf. Man. Oh my God. Okay, I don't even know why they would throw a I don't know why they throw a Hitler quote in, like that's gonna prove something. Like I said, I haven't looked all the way through this. I didn't even notice the Hitler quote before this point. Oh God, and okay, we are, oh my God, and that's why, because they're talking about the Holocaust. Of course they are. Fuck sake. The ideology of depriving, controlling, and oppressing people by using their own children is not a new idea. The current framework of the family court system is similarly designed and based on the thoughts and beliefs that were successfully implemented by individuals such as Adolf Hitler. While this may seem highly controversial, this system was implemented through the notion of a snug premise regarding children. Finally, the New York State Family Court has become a holocaust. The media cannot any longer cover up this crisis. Oh my God. See, I get the desperation, but it's things like this where I have to question the mental stability of a parent that would allow these people to do any sort of legal things for it. I wouldn't let them handle a parking ticket. The New York family court system has become a holocaust. I'm honestly speechless. This affidavit is probably one of the worst that they put together. This is really... See, okay, and now that right there, that's actually a perfect example too. They claim that when they don't respond, that's them winning. But again, how do you respond to something like saying that the New York Family Court has become a holocaust without any backing evidence whatsoever? I mean, how do you even argue this? How do you fight this? It's just nonsensical bullshit claims. Who wrote this? I'm really leaning towards Chris Hallett wrote this. I'm leaning towards this is the E-Clause guys that put this together for Fran. One thing is that Fran isn't smart enough to put something like this together. David Jose certainly is not smart enough to put something like this together. And Chris Hallett and Kirk they're smart enough to put all this shit together. Like, they're good at memorizing stuff. They just don't understand what any of it means. And so that's the problem with like E-Clause and Kirk Pendergrass. If Kirk Pendergrass actually did what I said he should do and went to law school, man, he'd be great. If he actually understood what the hell he was talking about or what he was trying to push, if he got any sort of legal degree, he'd be great. The guy just memorizes shit. I'll give him that. The dude, his brain's like a sponge. The problem is that he's teaching himself all of these laws, and him and Chris Hallett both, they don't have anybody to tell them if they're learning it correctly, if they're understanding it correctly, if they're doing anything correctly. They just read these things and they're like, oh, well, this means this. And then they're both like, yeah, high five, buddy. They don't have anybody there to be like, no, guys, that's not what that means. That doesn't mean that. You can't use that like that. You're not understanding what you're reading. So since they don't have anybody there trying to, I guess, keep them from being idiots, they create this sort of nonsense. Yeah, so this, oh my God. Ooh, we got violations. Violation of 4th and 5th Amendments commonly occur as CPS workers will attempt to engage parents without any court orders or warrants. CPS workers get away with lying in reports, lying to other parents, lying to other supervisors, and committing perjury while testifying in the family courts. We have even seen cases that, due to their lies, result in blah, blah, blah. Again, any evidence of that would be great. And that is something that does happen. Don't get me wrong, 100%. Social workers every day lie. There's been a lot of significant cases of social workers lying. You can't just say, hey, they're lying though. You got to do this. You got to provide something. Oh, the general misconception is that any statute passed by legislators bearing the appearance of law constitutes the law of the land. The U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and any statute to be valid must be in agreement. Yeah, this is probably the E-clause, guys. This one has to be the E-clause, guys. This definitely sounds like their sort of nonsense. Yeah, then we're just going to put random codes that we think fit into this. Fraud and white-collar crimes while engaged in human child trafficking. The NYS Family Court judges are not acting in the capacity of any judge, being of whom is impartial while acting under the color of law. Instead, they are acting solely in the capacity as a paid administrator under contract with Title IV agencies and as recipients or grantees under registered non-for-profit corporations, as shown below. Which, by the way, Fran also claims that she is a non-profit and nobody's ever been able to find proof of that whatsoever. So Fran is literally ripping people off in the same fashion they're accusing CPS, which is super ironic. In the New York State, these judges or administrators work to provide a non-custodial parent so that they can order child support and get matching funds for the state via the federal government. Placing children in foster care brings even more money. Legal ethics. Okay, so where is the human trafficking? I guess we just kind of trailed off for that. I guess we forgot what we titled that section. Yeah, this is garbage. So obviously the family courts did not shut down. I don't think we're going to watch any more of their little speech there, but I did find these 3 videos. We will do these 3 videos. So this is, I believe, before, after, and after shutting down the Ulster County courts. Oh, here, let me.
Hey everybody, welcome. Gonna wait till we fill up here and then I'm gonna start updating everybody. Going for a little ride with me through New York State, everybody. Figured you'd come with me. Welcome to Punish for Protecting, the little group that's kicking major devil booty. Welcome everybody. We're kicking devil booty in the state of New York with a state of emergency and a demand, my friends, to shut down the family court because it's treason, because it is child trafficking, So I'm taking it through a little ride through New York State right now, while you guys are joining, so I can update everybody and tell you more good news. I'll be flipping this as soon as I hit this light. Coming up to a light right now, and I can share everybody some more good news. So here we go, my friends. Okay, let's flip this camera now that I've stopped. Hi, everybody. Hi. So I am one very happy, very excited human being right now. All our hard work is paying off big time. So here's the good news, my friends. And we've got some warriors through here, and I'm so proud of each and every one of you. And I just wanted to share some more good news. So what we're doing right now is we're sending up the complaint. So we're sending you all the complaint. So anybody that emails me, go on my Facebook page. The instructions are there. Email me. When you email me, you will get a sworn copy of the full affidavit of, it's called State of Emergency, that was served on Letitia James yesterday, our Attorney General. All states can follow what we're doing, and you're welcome to take me out there and have me do it for you and help you take down each and every state family court. But if it started here in New York in 1962, isn't it smart to get rid of it in 2020? And then we can have this happen because the whole country is what picked up this fraudulent system. Okay, that's what happened. So they put it here without our vote. They put it here by usurping our authority, and now we're letting them know. So we put them on.
This moron doesn't even know the origins of where what she's fighting is. So obviously one of her main things is CPS. Just a quick little recap on how the system actually got to where it is at this point. My home state of Kansas is actually where you can thank for the foster and adoption services that you see today. In 1989, social services, this is back when CPS was still just social services. It was a government agency. The Kansas social services for CPS basically was in such bad shape. There was kids being abused, molested, dying, running away, basically pretty similar to what it is today, but a lot less, I would say even less supervision and monitoring all of that. So this lawsuit in 1989 actually transitioned over to a class action lawsuit. I believe it was by 1991. And what happened was the state of Kansas actually lost. They lost bad, and they had somewhere around like 152, maybe it was like 152 suggestions that they had to change for the courts just to get social services back up. And in that lawsuit, everybody was sued. The state of Kansas was sued, the governor, social services, they went at it. By 1996, the state of Kansas social services had not fixed everything that the judge had ordered. So basically what happened was Kansas CPS was like, well, we didn't do everything the court ordered, so instead what we're going to do is privatize our foster agency and our adoption agency, which for a lot of people in the CPS world, that's what there is. There's foster and there's adoption. A lot of people don't even understand that there's two different worlds inside the CPS, and that's the two different worlds. So I don't even think Fran knows that basic bit of information, honestly. So basically they privatized their foster and their adoption services, and thus the Kansas Department for Children and Families was born. From there, all across the country, other social service areas basically followed suit of privatizing their services. So what that did was basically enabled it basically got rid of accountability. It put up so many walls on a media level, on a legal level, on just all around. Privatizing the CPS agencies themselves was a protective shield, so that there basically couldn't be a repeat of that class action lawsuit in Kansas back in 89 through 91, maybe 92. So these are like total different issues. Fran just kind of milks the CPS people, while her issues aren't even with CPS. Her issues are actually with family court, and she can't even win there. But somehow, I think what it is, as this whole her jail sentence comes up in McGinty, and we see like her flailing out a little bit more and trying to do these super wild, reckless things and like shut down the state of New York's family courts right before she has to go to jail. Like all of that kind of tying together there. And I think she actually thinks that her enemy is the family courts, which is CPS, which that's not how it is. Granted, you're going to go through like a lot of the same courts and whatnot. Like, I mean, as far as service-wise, and yeah, it is family court systems, but it's not. I don't really know if I'm explaining my thought on this correctly, just because of the fact that Francesca's thoughts on this are so confusing. But I think she somehow blames CPS for the fact that she's actually already lost custody of her son. Don't quote me on that, because it's kind of hard to tell what goes through her head. But that might be what's going through her head. Not 100% sure on that, though.
Notice, we did it publicly. We served them yesterday. The whole world is watching. I don't even know where I know the social media version is like, it's kicking so much butt. It's gone viral. I have it on YouTube now. And so here's what's happening. Tammy's in here right now. I know I see her on here. Tammy went into the public building, and publicly she went in and she publicly served at the
Just real quick, because of that claim. Because remind you, she just said that this stuff went viral. Tammy doing all that shit got 444 views. And them at the courthouse got 384 views. It didn't go viral.
Clerk of the Ulster County Family Court today, okay? Not to serve them, but to let McGinty see what his name is. He's the first judge on there, right? So what happened? She did that, and everybody's doing that throughout the state. That's why I'm here right now. All you guys got to do is email me for it. I'm checking it constantly. I'm doing all kinds of other stuff. I'm homeschooling. I'm doing my quarterly, and doing all kinds of things right now. I actually work with somebody that came and met me at the library. I worked with this one lady so I can help her with her case tomorrow. The crazy things they're doing to her, that would be Lori Courier Woods. And basically, we are having people go into the fake family courts and just file it into the system to the judges, so the judges all get a copy. Isn't that nice? So I figured tonight when they get home, they'd have something to read, you know? And everybody's getting a copy. So here's what you guys do. We have a jurat on there, a notary on the end of the affidavit, the sworn affidavit. You guys can email me for a copy, New Yorkers, and you guys in other states can too. Just let me know if you're not a New Yorker, so I don't have to give you instructions to follow, because we don't want somebody from another state calling, you know, it doesn't make sense. But all New Yorkers, you guys can get a copy, a full copy. There's 28 pages full of violations. There's 15 pages, I believe 16 pages of the sworn affidavit putting her on notice. It talks about felonies, it talks about the treason, all of it's there. There is no way out. There is no way out. Of course, I will be the person that would receive if she does respond, and I will let you all know. And then we have to get back up in Albany, my friends, all of us, in bigger masses of people. But right now, see, the protest is still continuing. A protest doesn't necessarily simply mean that you're standing in front of a place and you have signs. And we did a different kind of a protest where we went into the building, we put them on notice so that the public is aware, so that it's public. All of us, we're ethical people. We do things with accountability. We did it for all to see. We don't hide things. We're showing everybody, right? And isn't it?
But if you question her, you will be blocked immediately. But they 100% do all this stuff publicly.
It's smarter and wiser. For example, if a child's being abused in front of...
Which, by the way, Fran, if you see this, or if any of Fran's followers, since we're doing everything openly, you are 100% welcome to come on a live with me and explain this. Like, explain this whole year of nonsense. So, since we're doing everything out in the open, in front of all of your followers, all of that, you can come on a live with me. You can 100% say your piece, and you can shut me down and show me how I'm wrong once and for all. more than welcome to.
Everybody, somebody can be there to protect that child. But like in the family court system that they call public, where you can't bring your camera in because they're sneaky and they're liars, it's really private, right? And that's where all the devilish things fester, because no one can, they're hiding what they're doing. We don't do things like that. We do things in the open. We do things soberly. We do things with the light shining on all of us, so that the light will dispel this darkness, right? We do things in a proper way, with integrity, class, morals, right? So we did that for everybody to see. Everything we're doing it for you all to see. From the Congress hearing, to the New York State Assembly, to the New York State Attorney General, to anything that we do, okay? And we do it for all to see. Nothing hidden here, nothing hidden. Everything is in the light. And that is so important, that it's in the light, so we can kill this thing, get this thing off. It's disgusting. It's child trafficking. Keep bringing it in the light, right? So, okay, so Tammy, I'm so grateful. I've got other people all over the state right now. They are serving it in the courts. They're going in, they're handing it to the clerks. The clerks are shaking like a leaf, and everybody's getting it. Everybody's got copies. And we want you guys to get your copies. We want you to do, you'll see, you'll have a page where you can sign it under notary, under oath. After you do your own, what you're going to do is you're going to add your own supplement. One page, you're going to do your own thing, and I'll send you even the one I did so you can get an idea. It doesn't have to go on for days. One sheet of paper is good with your complaint of all.
If you're even thinking about doing this, don't do it. Like, literally just don't do this. This is not a good idea. It's not going to help you. Don't do this.
What they've done to you, your family, you know, name them all. Name them all, because they're all connected to each other, all right? They're a bunch of circle jerks tied to each other, abusing your families and children, and we're a lot larger than they are, and they're starting to realize how big we are. You know what, movement? You're starting to realize just how big we are, okay? So if it's going to be us against them, it's us against them, but we got to protect our families. We got to protect our children, and we cannot allow this to continue any longer, okay? There's not a person I talk to that isn't victimized somehow, some way. Not a person. And I talk to people sometimes, and they'll go in and they'll go, well, it wasn't so bad. I was with this judge. It wasn't so bad. First time. Then all of a sudden they're like, I don't know what happened, but my rights just got violated. I'm like, I was just waiting for it, you know, because we already know. Or they think the judge might be nice, and then they give the judge, then they give a child over to a heroin dealer, you know, and take it from a protective mother or father. You know, they're not nice. These people are not nice. Okay, and they're not doing it because they made a mistake that day. They are intentionally making these mistakes, okay? They're intentionally doing what they're doing. There is no due diligence in their work. They're all wink, wink, nod, nod. The system is a fraud, okay? We've made it clear. We're using all their own violations against themselves, okay? They're held accountable now. There is no way out. If she responds, she's between a hard rock and a wall and a hard place. And if she doesn't respond, she's defaulted. Either way, they're guilty, and she is the head.
A wall in a hard place?
The head. She's the Attorney General. It's up to her to hold them accountable, prosecute them. We don't want to wait for more limbo and for more laws and stuff like that. None of that would ever make sense, guys. That just doesn't make sense. That would be like, I'm going to have a legal system that's completely a fallacy. It's completely unjust. It's completely illegal, and it's going to run things as if it's legal. Like, come on. All right? The damages alone are astronomical. The damages alone and the injury to families is so off the charts that this is the only answer. This is the only answer. And this is why everybody has just literally gone around the mountain for all these decades. Even groups that have tried to do great things, and we've all been there where we thought we could reform it because we thought it was real. But now that we don't, we're held accountable before God to do the right thing, which is hold them accountable. Okay? So let the prosecutions begin. Let's continue to expose them. They are public servants. Okay, we're all paying for this. We're all paying. If you don't walk in a family court, your tax dollars are paying. Federal funding is paying for this. And do you really want to do you want the blood on your hands that knows that those monies are going into harm families and children and place them into child trafficking or just harm or danger or away from beloved family or family that protects them? No, violation of God-given rights is a very serious thing before man and before God. So here we are today. Let's celebrate our victory. We have done great
things, and I'm so happy. And I'm so happy of the amazing people that came up there yesterday. So many different people that came up there yesterday. Beautiful, amazing people. Joseph, he was absolutely such a blessing. I really think he was an angel sent from heaven. It was wonderful yesterday. I couldn't ask for more. It was a great day. We spoke truth out into that office. We declared truth out into that office. We put her on notice. We're giving her that opportunity to not fix it. It's not fixable. To hold them accountable for their crimes. To shut down the family court in 48 hours. So New Yorkers, if you didn't get the affidavit yet, please be sure to email me for it. It's on. You can start right away. When I get inside, I will put the email address here. I need you to continue to call that office. They are overwhelmed with phone calls. Overwhelmed. And they just keep coming in. And I need you to tell every single New Yorker to just do one sheet of paper. Say this, judge this one and this attorney and that child attorney and whatever, what have you.
Sorry guys, my dog, the beautiful Aquila, is at my mother's right now, so I thought she had something important to tell me. But she didn't. She was making sure Grandma was in bed.
Whoever harmed your family, whoever turned a blind eye to your child being abused, whoever ignored, whoever went into like these fake little, there's these little places they have now, these buildings that cost us a lot of money. They're supposed to be there for children that are being sexually abused, and then they ignore all sex abuse. Okay, and they all play the same game. It's the same game, guys. I'm in all these courts. I see the same game. That's why they don't want us filming in there, so you can see the sick game. Because if people just looked at it, if you actually laid people's cases out and you looked, everybody says the same thing. My case is the worst. No, they're all bad because they're all treating you like garbage. They're treating you like you're less than when we are their boss. They're treating us like we're inferior. They're treating us like we're dumb. They're treating us with disrespect and blatant disregard for our rights as human beings, our rights to protect our children. They have no right to do any of this, and we've put them on notice. So thank you guys. Let's keep this high energy going. Let's continue to pound this. Arizona, David, I see you on here. Let's go after Arizona because we know how bad it is there. California, I'm on every state, okay? But we have to continue to target these states that are so diabolical. New York State is letting crazy criminals out all over the state right now. Criminals, okay? I'm for bail reform. I'm for, first of all, due process in the first place. They're not giving anybody due process, okay? They can't do that. You don't have to request a trial by jury of your peers. Okay, that's not something you're supposed to request. You're supposed to have it. Like, no, I need you to fill out this paper, and I need you to do this, and I need you to hire that attorney, and then I need you to. It's not how it works. I mean, this is a big, and he's right. Joseph said, don't call it a kangaroo. A kangaroo is a lovely animal. Well, but you know what? I don't know what to call it because it's a fraud on its face. It's a fraud on its face, and the people need to keep rising and rising and rising. State of New York, we got it. We are taking it down. So let's keep doing it. This is going to protect everybody's rights. All rights are involved in this. All rights are involved in this. Everything. The right to protect yourself. Boy, when God told me to use the name, first of all, he dropped in my spirit, you've been punished for being a mother. Something so innocent. A mother. Just a simple mother that loves her children, that raises them, that does all the right things. You've been punished. And then, of course, as time went on, of course, I embraced the fathers as well as the mothers. And then the Lord told me, punished for being a parent. You're just all being punished just for being something that you're supposed to be. How dare anyone punish such a noble, that God gave you? Like, how dare, and frighten you and belittle you and bully you and beat you into submission and threaten your children. I mean, I get this every day from people. They dangle your children or jail. Or we're going to take them away anyway and throw you in jail for doing nothing wrong, and we're not going to give you a real trial. We're going to give you this thing.
Is anybody following what? This is just the rantings of a lunatic.
We're going to call it a trial, and then all the attorneys are going to talk before and say, this is what we're going to do to abuse this one, and this is what we're going to do. This is what they do. This is what they do. And if you notice, you're seeing more and more families. That's why I like to interview the families. You're seeing more and more families that speak well, that you can tell that are loving their kids, that you can tell they go to work and they're hardworking, and they take care of their children. And if you get the opportunity, like me, to go to their houses are clean. They have everything for their kids. All they do really is live for their children. and these psychos in robes are there. It's like, how? I want to know how they get up every day. I want to know how they sit there and they make these decisions and they scan the room and they just come up with whatever they come up with and put it in an order and demand people to follow something that is really impossible. It's a burden to follow something. You're not put here to do that unless you're a criminal and you've been found guilty and there is, there is something that you've done wrong and you've actually harmed another person. And you know what I'm saying? In some cases, people deserve rehabilitation when they're willing to change. And in other cases, people may need to be, away from people because they're not safe for society. Okay? But not in New York State. They get let out free.
Fran needs to be away from society.
Normal. Nothing is normal, but there are a lot of normal people. I promise you, because I traveled all over. There's wonderful people, godly people, caring people, moral people, loving people. Okay, and that's us, and we're bigger than them. We're bigger than them. There's so many. I deal with them that are afraid to move, and then all of a sudden you guys see the powerhouses they become. Because I'm like, wait a minute, what are you more scared of? Your child being harmed or you being harmed? You gotta fight this, and there's not just one of you now. There's countless of us. We're huge. Okay, we're huge. Sometimes people can't always show up because they're constantly being bound to the freaking court or some other ridiculous stuff. Okay, but I deal with all the people. We deal with all the people, and the phones aren't stop ringing, and the messages aren't coming. They don't stop coming in, and the phone calls don't stop coming in, and the notifications don't keep coming in. They keep coming because there's so many of us. Okay, so get that affidavit. Email me for that affidavit. Like I said, I will send it to you. You go sign it under oath. It's already there. All you can do is print. Bring about $5 to $10 with you to print the whole thing. All right. And mail it up, physically mail it up. You can email it up too. So all you got to do is fill out your own sheet of paper if you want to. Fill out your own sheet of paper. Only print off the notary part. Have that, have a notary do it. Scan it back in, and then you only paid a couple of dollars. Not expensive, and email it to her. The email is all over my page, Cassandra.Walker. I think it's at attorneygeneral.newyork.gov. Very simple, and keep sending them up. This is a supplement to the affidavit, but everybody's signing it under oath. You've got the whole state of New York, notarizing this and sending up and saying, I stand.
A supplement to the affidavit.
Right. For this, I too have been a victim. My child too has been abused. My children, my family, my mother, my father, my grandparents, whatever, what have you. We want this over. We have to come up with something better for the future of our nation, for the future of New York, for the future of our children, of our children's children. We cannot rely on a system that's doing this, and we cannot give them any new laws or rules or regulations or try to hold them back a little bit or no, they need to be held accountable because these are crimes worth 6 decades worth of crimes. Do you guys understand the amount of children just in the state of New York that died due to their negligence and intentional harm? Okay, do you understand the amount of children in the state of New York only that have been abused and continue to be abused due to their negligence and intentional harm? Do you guys understand that these child attorneys, when they hear abuse, they put you aside like there's something wrong with you, and they blame you for it, say you're coaching? Now think about this, because it's pretty obvious to the average person that if a mother is being supervised for coaching, and the mother can't get to the child, and she's only watched when she's near the child, and the child has the same bumps, bruises, or sexual abuse, has the same reactions and the same so on, and the mother can't coach the child, so they say, even though a doctor didn't say it, they say it. How in the world is there something not wrong with that picture? Okay, or on the other hand, when a father's trying to protect the children just the same as a mother would, okay, and it's the shoe was on the other foot, all right? And yet they're blaming the person that's protective. That is a sick, evil thing. And they need to not just be held accountable for it in this life, but in the one to come. For sure. For certain. And I know that that's going to happen. I know that that vindication is here. So guys, write in, get your affidavit, sign yours under oath, get them in. Remember, she's got 48 hours. We want the courts down by Friday morning. We want them shut down. And there's going to be a bunch of angry, very educated, very professional, very awesome New Yorkers, families, mothers and fathers that aren't going to tolerate it by Friday. Thank you guys. Love you all. And God bless you.
Man. All these are actually reasonably short That last one though, oh, that last one is good because Fran looks like hell. But, man. So yeah, really all this is about her impeding. Well, it's about two things. It's about her scamming some cash out of people, and then also the fact that she's about to go to jail, and she's already lost custody of her son, but she's just been prolonging this. I believe this was later in the day. Or vice versa, this one might have came first. But I think this one came second.
Just waiting for you guys to join. I need to explain something to some people that don't understand. This
Her
is a
eyes look
celebration
crazier.
time, my friends. This is not a time to get upset.
Her eyes look way crazier than when we first started talking about Fran, like over a year ago. She looks way crazier.
So go ahead and join. You've seen my posts. We posted the public legal notice served upon the New York State Attorney General's office, New York State Attorney General Letitia James. She has my phone number. She has my business contact number. She has my email. And we gave her 48 hours to respond. Let me wait for you guys to all join. Go ahead and go get the numbers up for me, guys, as I'm driving, to let people know that I'm on, so I can inform everybody the good news. People think this is bad news. I gotta explain to you how this is not only good news, it's great news, it's wonderful news, and everybody needs to understand how this works. If you guys recall, well, I'll wait. I'm going to wait a little bit. Let's get these numbers up. Let's get this invited out, guys, because I can't do it. I'm in the car. Okay? Let's get these numbers up, guys, so I don't have to repeat myself twice. Probably Facebook is messing with me because I know people are waiting to hear good news. So I know that I can't share in groups. I can't even share in my own groups. They stop me from sharing because, you know, that's bad. You can't share your own stuff.
It's called spam. That's for artificial growth of videos. So like actually if you look through a lot of Fran's shares and whatnot, you'll see like herself or one of her like super crazy followers, like Holly Dyke or whatever. They'll go and share her videos like 50 times in 50 different groups, and that's spam. So that's why that's not allowed, because on a lot of posts there actually are spam bots that sit there and just repeatedly share this content. So when Facebook sees one account sharing the same thing to 20 different groups every single time, that's artificial inflation of the video. That's why you hardly see me do any shit like that. I share it out to my personal page, that's about it. I haven't even really been tagging people, but it's spam. That's actually a good thing, because if Facebook didn't enforce that, then you would have those like watch this movie free comments and shit on posts all over the place, and just actual bots.
So they like to mess with me right now. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and explain what's going on for those of you that don't understand. We were waiting for Letitia James. I served her on 21st at 1 o'clock. She was given 48 hours to respond. She had to respond line upon line, precept upon precept, under oath, sworn under oath, with a notary jurat.
No, she didn't.
I didn't want a phone call from Letitia James. I didn't want an email from Letitia James. I didn't want to go to my mailbox and find something from Letitia James. Why? Why didn't I? Because they're guilty. We're dealing with criminals. This is a big, important, and powerful day for not just the state of New York, for all families across our country.
Okay, guys, this is the thing that I've been trying to tell so many of you. Civics has been taken out of most schools. Okay, so a lot of the younger generation doesn't even understand how things work politically speaking. Okay, because you've either been told something wrong, you've been misquoted the Constitution, so many things you just have not understood that the process that we're doing is the proper, lawful process. And in 1962, when the Family Court Act usurped our authority, which we are the bosses, the rightful heir, we are their bosses, so to speak. They have been running for close to 6 decades. I know I've said 5, but we're in 2020 now, so 6.
It's like you can see her head thinking, how the hell am I going to explain that this shit didn't work either? I mean, it's like you can see it working in overtime, trying to figure out how the hell she is not going to be found out that she's an idiot that has no clue what she's talking about. Which, by the way, lawful and legal, that's a totally Kirk and Chris nonsense that she's spitting out there. No, they're not practicing some lawful method that every attorney on the earth and the government is trying to hide from you and blah blah blah. They're just idiots.
Close to 6 decades unlawfully. It's treason.
Figure it out, Fran.
What we've done is we did the rightful, lawful process.
The rightful,
when we're on notice
process.
Publicly, as you saw. Okay, first, there's a way that this has happened. First, the New York State Assembly invited me to come speak because of all the families of New York that wanted me to speak on their behalf, calling and emailing and demanding. And so there I had that you guys saw at the New York State Assembly. I put them on notice publicly, which brought a lot of vindication to a lot of families everywhere, right? Because I don't mince words. I say what's happening. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware, but right now the DEA in the state of New York was just caught. It's right on my page, right below here. Child pedophilia. Yeah. So you wonder why you go to these people and they act like they're concerned and they don't give two craps because they're part of the frickin' child pedophilia. I'm going to tell you what happened in Ulster County Family Court today too, which is powerful. It's amazing. Okay, we're kicking their butts with their own foot. We're kicking their asses with their own foot. So put them on notice, the New York State Assembly, then put them on notice publicly. After RFK spoke, I spoke during that protest, went inside, went to the Attorney General's office. She was there, Letitia James, and I went into the office with 2 witnesses, Alicia and Sarah, and we put them on notice publicly, okay? And I don't know if they were oblivious and didn't understand what we just did, but we did that inside a briefing room, inside the Attorney General's office in Albany, New York, and you all saw it, put them on notice publicly. Okay, then we headed back up there. That was January 8th. First one, November 21st. Second one, January 8th. Third one, Tuesday at 1 o'clock. You physically watched me hand deliver the sworn affidavit. We did not file it into the Attorney General's office. We are not asking them. We are putting a demand, a sworn affidavit under oath, and it wasn't signed by 2 witnesses. It was signed under oath by 6 witnesses. And now currently, thousands of New York families are signing it under oath themselves individually, and they are submitting their own testimony to the sworn affidavit that she had 48 hours to respond to. And if she doesn't respond to, it is now law. We have done it. We have successfully done what we wanted to do. She could not respond to that.
Okay, again, that's not how law works at all. They file an affidavit, which, just to make it as clear as possible, an affidavit is a written, sworn testimony. It's not a contract. It doesn't make law. It doesn't do anything that she's claiming. Like, literally, it does nothing that Fran's trying to claim. I really cannot suggest enough. anybody that's thinking about trying any of this affidavit, any of this software nonsense, just look up the word affidavit. It's not law, because first off, there is no law put in there. Like, they were requesting for the family courts to be abolished, and that didn't happen. Like, that didn't happen at all. It's getting interesting watching Fran try and explain her way out of this nonsense. But man, she's still trying, so.
She cannot argue the points. This is why we did not want to hear from her. Now, if she wants to call me for coffee and a bagel, she can do that. And we can sit down and start talking about how to fix these families. Okay, but when it comes to the lawful service that she received on November 1st for the whole entire public to see, because like I said, we don't do things in hiding. We don't do things in darkness. We do things exposed in the light for all.
Again, Fran, I openly welcome you to do a live with me, since we do not hide stuff in the dark. I would love for you to explain some of this stuff. Explain some of the sovereign nonsense, explain some of your court cases, explain Bradley Stark and the sovereign immunity. I'd love for you to explain so much of this stuff and bring it to light, because obviously some of us are confused on your, how could I say it, your bullshit.
Why? Because one of the biggest issues we have with the family court system and the whole bullshit system, the whole bullshit, is that everything is done in darkness, everything is done with no accountability, okay? And they've completely lost public trust. And without public trust, you have nothing. And the public... Sorry. Someone called.
Oh man, and she was on a good rant.
Sorry, someone called.
Damn it.
We are the real court. We are the court. Okay? So now, state of New York, keep going. I know that there is a huge protest being planned for Friday. Okay, up in Albany. It's a combination of the anti-bail reform that they're doing right now, so to stop that. And I'm going to talk to you about bail reform and my thoughts on it, because they're letting out criminals, but there's innocent people. You see it every day where a man gets accused of murder or rape or something, a man or woman, and then they're exonerated 28 years later and they never committed the crime. That's messed up. That's a life, okay? And lives that affects. But real criminals are getting out like, you know, it's nothing, okay? And we're talking about people with serious issues. Okay, this is not what bail reform is supposed to be. So those of you that are for bail reform, you really got to understand what's going on. I'm not against you. I just want you to think a little bit, because they're letting out criminals. Okay, this is making our state even more unsafe. And so that's not what we're looking for. When we're looking for bail reform, we're looking for legal and proper due process. And if there was ever legal and proper due process, because I'm not just looking at the family courts, I'm looking at the criminal courts, diabolical. I'm looking at the circuit courts and the divorce courts, diabolical. Okay, the whole thing. All right, because if there was an actual legitimate due process and all this exorbitant money and the game.
I'd be willing to bet that she has not looked into the bail reform issue at all.
Game that's played, this stuff wouldn't all be being exposed the way it's being exposed. So this is good news, guys. America, this is good for everybody. New York, remember, it started here in 1962. We take it down here in 2020, and we can save the entire country from the fraudulent family court fraud court. It's a fraud, and I'm going to tell you something really awesome today. So I went and court watched New York's Ulster County Family Court in New York today. I'll be in Brooklyn tomorrow. And of course I had to court watch Anthony McGinty today, which was so enjoyable. And I got to tell you, the attorneys, not just one, but there's others, because I'm getting a lot of feedback from a lot of attorneys, convinced the couple to withdraw and get out and never come back again. Gee, I wonder why. I can assure you, I've been doing this for 12 and a half years. I've never heard an attorney tell both mother and father, withdraw and get the hell out and don't come back again. Tell me we ain't winning, my friends. Tell me we don't
What
got
does
them
that even
shaking in their
mean?
boots. You go ahead and tell me that they're not all running scared right now. You tell me, because I just was there and witnessed it, and I have witnesses that witnessed it too. Okay, people who were up at the Albany with me on Friday were in there with me today. Okay, and they can vouch for me. That's what just happened. And that's what I'm hearing a lot of behind the scenes. So I posted a post because, see, attorneys talk to me. Some of them hate me. Some of them talk to me. Some of them are on the edge because they're scared.
No, they don't.
And attorneys or their clients will tell me what their attorneys are saying to them. And since we served it, they are shaken in their boots. They're having a diarrhea fest. Okay? And some of the judges mocked us and said, well, they're just disgruntled parents. Yeah, okay, scumbag. Or they just kind of laughed, but I really think it's a nervous laugh. Or they're shitting a pill, okay? And I'm sorry, I should.
So they laugh in her face, and she's like, well, they're laughing because they're scared. They're actually shitting pills, which I don't even know what shitting a pill means, but, you know, whatever.
Even say a pill. They're shitting a whole lot more than that. They're shitting a whole lot more than that right now. Their day is over, my friends.
Shitting a lot.
Social media has been our blessing. We can just continue because we are the real media. Let's face it. Independent media is the real media because all the other media, like, they don't even show up. They show up here and there. We've had some. Look at Virginia. Look at Virginia, who actually really showed up there, and yet you had thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of protesters. Okay, so. Every once in a while, you'll get one of them. The Daily Freeman in Kingston, New York is afraid of its own shadow. The Daily Freeman, oh my God, okay? And all these other newspapers. I understand the Poughkeepsie Journal will air our stuff. If you look below this video, by the way, the entire sworn affidavit is listed below for you guys, so you guys can click it and go look at the whole thing. You can see what Letitia James has been served. You can see why she cannot respond, and that's exactly what we wanted. That's exactly what we wanted. Now she has to shut the family court down by tomorrow morning. It should not open. She had 48 hours. I just left the family court. It was open. It was open. But they told the parents to withdraw the case and never come back. Come on. Let's rejoice. What are we upset about? See, let me tell you something. We came in here like gangbusters, okay? And we changed the course of the family rights movement because people were chasing their tail. Genders were fighting, fake statistics everywhere. Father's this and mother's that. Without a mother, it's this. No, it's without biological loving family, these horrible things happen. And when they get put into foster care, they shoot up schools, okay? Because there are one-parent households that raise amazing children in stable, loving homes. Do not ever insult a one-parent household that does a fucking good job, ever on my watch. Sorry, because that really offends me. And it offends the good fathers that are one parent and the good mothers that are one parent that are protecting their children, okay, that raise excellent, suitable, responsible adults and put them into society that are doing a good thing on the earth. But children that are fostered or children that are left in abuse will shoot up schools, okay, will do things like that, can possibly end up in jail, of course, because of what they've done to these kids. And when they grow up, they're all screwed up, okay? So that's the real story. Don't give me these bullshit one-sided gender statistics because it'll never fly with me. Ever. Okay? So that's why this happens to children, not because of only one parent, right, raising them. Okay? That's nonsense. Okay? But anyhow, so we're going after the system, not the mothers. We're going after the system, not the fathers. We're going after the system. Okay? And now
as she goes after her son's father, that after she lost her custody. But yeah, she's totally gonna do it.
Kinds of groups are joining us now. Isn't that amazing? It's amazing. All kinds of groups are joining us together. All the groups are joining against, because it's our rights, punished for protecting all of our different types of rights, starting with our children, and then everything else they're trying to encroach. And we say no. And everybody says it can't be done. Well, we're doing it. And we're going to keep doing it. So keep rising up. New Yorkers, email me at I'm not National Coalition anymore. It's just the email I use. That's what I was years ago. I've been 3 years punished for protecting incorporating. But the National Coalition email will be listed on this email, and it's on all the other, will be listed on this video, and it's on all the other videos below. and get your own copy of the affidavit, do your own one-page supplemental and sign it under oath and send it to the Attorney General's office. The complaints are coming in far and wide, up and down, all over the state of New York, and we are going to mass produce this in every state in the nation. We're going to hit every state in the nation. We want the family court down. And the main question I'm getting is, everybody wants it down, everybody wants it over, but they want to know how they're going to get their kids back. They want to know how they're going to get their kids out of a dangerous home, and that's where we're stepping in, okay? We're going to get the advocates to restore the families. We, the people, are going to restore the families. We, the people. You're not going to get the help in the family courts. Your children will remain in danger. Your children will remain with an abuser or a foster care system, something. We, the people, are going to force them to return these children back to their loving, protective homes, because these judges are not going to do it. They're making way too much money not doing it, okay?
So they're going to shut down the family courts, which in turn is somehow going to shut down CPS. And then all the kids that are in the foster and adoption agencies are just going to be handed over to advocates, and then the advocates will place the thousands of children back with their families. All right.
Okay, I can't read the post right now because I'm driving. I'm pretty much done with this video. Please, guys, you that watch what I do, you that are following, you that are, you know, whatever, that are advocates that are asking to help. Yes, we do need your help. We're trying to get this in all the newspapers in the state of New York right now too, and you can do that. If you know any newspapers, you can get this legal document in there, not under legal notifications, but on the free service called news, like anything that's news. Okay, that's where we can get this affidavit up all over the state of New York. So feel free, guys. You have my permission to do it. Any media sources that will put it in the newspaper, they're supposed to.
What
it's
the
public
fuck
interest.
is she saying?
Okay, make sure, keep calling, keep emailing, keep sending it, keep doing whatever we have to do. Don't let them say no to you. Oh, there's a car accident up here. Don't let them say no to you. Just make them do it, okay? And New Yorkers, I need you guys. I'm getting slammed with emails. I'm so happy. That means the more emails I get, the more they get the advice, what I'm telling you to do. Type up your own, sign it under oath, and send it up to cassandra.walker@ag.ny.gov. That's the lady that I spoke with that you saw in that little briefing room where we put them on public notice. And keep submitting it so that your judges, CPS workers, anybody, any public servant that harmed your case, you know, any of these child advocacy centers that claim to be helping children that are sex abused, that we know they ignore it. Every mother and father can't be wrong that they're ignoring it. And these advocates that literally are working for the DA's office, are not working to protect the children. You know, report them all. Report everybody. Report every single name. Get them on that list. Report it, because what's happening is other people that you don't know are reporting the same names. They're seeing the name McGinty come across their desk 50 million times. They're seeing the name Lori Courier Woods come across the desk 50 million times. They're seeing the name Amy Ingram come across their desk. Andy Gilday come across their desk. They're seeing this name over and over and over and over and over. Michael McGuire. They're seeing Judge Brendan's name come across the desk. They're seeing Judge Brown's desk. They're seeing Judge Pearl's name. They're seeing all these names coming across their desks. Lavallo, all these names they're seeing all day long. All these people signing it under oath, We want the system down. We are in support of you shutting down the court. We're in support of prosecuting all of these judges and attorneys and bar members and so on and so forth, guardian ad litems. They're seeing all the names coming across.
Now, remind you, they're technically, she's asking for the system that she says that doesn't work to prosecute, or work in prosecuting to prosecute these people. So they're destroying the system by asking the system to destroy itself, which totally makes a lot of sense, because this is global human trafficking that's worth billions of dollars, and because Fran asked them to, they're totally gonna just arrest each other and be like, she's right. Man, I swear
with all these families signing it under oath. How can you lose against this? Everybody is saying we are in agreement with the prosecutions of the 28 pages of federal crimes, violations, federal crimes. They're seeing this come all day long, all night long. The phones had not stopped ringing at the New York State Attorney General's office, 518-776-2431, 518-776-2431. And the phone calls have been coming in since January 8th, the state of New York. So there's people out there that have no idea that I even exist and that I'm doing this, right? And then there's countless families that know about what I'm doing, but there's those that are not on social media. Get a hold of your neighbors. There's people that aren't social media savvy, so they don't really know what's going on, right? So get a hold of these people, get a hold of them so that they too can call in and then send in a one-page supplement, sign it under oath. I even, somebody called again, sorry, and boom, send it in, okay? And keep it going, okay? So the email I will post in the comments. It's on my Facebook page, though. You can find it below this video on this page, this Francesca Amato profile page. Basically, right below this.
I don't know if I can do the last 5 minutes of this video. Let's just skip to this one. I like this one because look how fucking. I mean, she just looks like hell. Man. Let's go ahead.
Hey guys, you're live on Punished for Protecting. I'm Francesca Amato. I'm actually leaving the Kings County Family Court in Brooklyn, New York right now. Sorry about that, everybody. I'm leaving the Kings County Family Court right now. I was with a whole team of people, a whole group of people. And I wanted to put this post up right now, okay? We are still doing the right thing. We are still moving forward, and groups are growing all over the state of New York right now. It is still holding that she has been served. Letitia James has been served, as you guys know. It is publicly posted. You all can also receive the 28 pages of violations. I have posted her number today and email, okay? That's Cassandra Walker's email, and I've posted the telephone number. I want everybody calling, asking why the courts are not shut down, but the courts are successfully under investigation. So we do have that. Okay, this is where it's moving right now.
Something that nobody can prove or disprove, which actually can be disproved. I imagine I'll probably call the Attorney General's office tomorrow for the article that I'm going to do that's going along with this video. But the courts aren't shut down, but don't worry guys, they're being investigated. We did something still. Of course. But man, just watching her try and explain all of her nonsense, and God, like, look at it. It's like physically taking a toll on her. Because she looks like shit compared to 2 days ago.
Now at this point in time. So I just want to continue to update everybody. Now we have started a Facebook group. And I'm actually going to start another Facebook group. I'm going to move everybody over to another New York Facebook Messenger group so that everybody can work together. And so we want to load up that Messenger group so we can know where to be, at what time, what to do, next steps, and so on and so forth. And we can continue to add New Yorkers. But we're going to do this. And actually, I think I may do it as a page, I think. This way everybody can just kind of check it when they're available, because sometimes Messenger gets too many notifications. So I think that's how I'm going to do it. Bear with me. Obviously, I'm in a car right now. But that's the news for right now. She did not shut the courts down. That does not mean that the courts are not going to be shut down. Okay, we are going to continue to go forward to have the courts shut down. They are illegal courts. They steal children without due process of law. Okay, and then they have their own narrative and motives for what they do when they fight families. Whether or not you have an attorney, they have their own motives and their own narratives to continue to cover up themselves. Okay, I'm in these courts all the time, so there is a lot of great things that are happening, everybody. Great things. They know they're in trouble. They know. I've talked to police officers, attorneys. I've talked to people's staff and so on and so forth. They know that they're in trouble.
I'm going to use the little boys' room real quick while she rants.
No. And the more we continue to push this, we're coming against something huge, my friends. And it's been around for a lot of decades, okay? It doesn't just go away in one blink of an eye, okay? We are working very hard, and we need the support of New Yorkers and the nation, guys. We need you guys to spread this like wildfire, because there's at least one New Yorker in every state, right? And I'm saying that facetiously. There are New Yorkers everywhere, so we want to continue to focus on what we're doing in New York, but I want you guys to start picking this up and doing this in all the other states. We want the family court down. They cannot use their excuses anymore. I heard a judge today say, you know, family, you cannot say that your child was kidnapped because that would put your child at risk. Give me a break. They don't want to, that sounds very good. It sounds wonderful. If the people were crazy, okay? But the children are being kidnapped. They're being what's called legally kidnapped. And it's a very poignant word. It is a very strong word, and it needs to be, because people need to understand. If CPS
You could probably hear me
or
peeing.
endangering children or ordering children.
Is that what's going on? Is she covering her own mic?
Family with
Okay, let me just double check. I'm pretty sure she's covering her own mic. Hold on.
using the court to do it. They're all guilty.
Yeah, no, she's so stressed out and screwed up that she's got her mic covered.
I put the other name on here as well. I'm going to put her phone number up on here.
Oh, she's looking bad. She doesn't even know that she's covering her phone mic. Like, Fran has seen better days.
Number full. Calm down. And I told her today, she gave me a mailing address to
There
mail,
you
which
go,
I will mail
kiddo.
the sworn affidavit, and everybody can mail theirs there as well. And that's in a physical mailing for the judge, and it goes through security. Which and
Imagine being this stupid.
you can't hear me? Okay, great. I've just spoken for an hour and nobody could hear me. Can you hear me now? Great. So I
Actually,
just talked for all this time. Nobody could hear me. Okay, great.
This movie, this is 7 minutes and 30 seconds in. Like, even her brain, her own brain thinks that 7 minutes is an hour. Like, that's how stupid and just numbing this is. Your brain literally thought, like, your brain thinks you talking is in dog years.
Let's go over it again. Everybody can hear me
Oh,
now?
God.
You guys sat there anyway? Thanks, I appreciate it. What I'm saying is I'm leaving Kings County, Brooklyn right now. The word of the day right now is that no, the courts are not shut down, but they are under investigation. The courts are under investigation. The names are under investigation. So keep it going in, and we do want the courts shut down. We want the courts to cease and desist. Now, I got a phone call today from Judge DeFiore's, one of her attorneys, called me back today. Her name is Heather Abyss. And I'm going to leave her phone number up here for all of you to call. It's a direct line that you are in full, you all are wanting the system shut down, and that you're in agreement with what was served upon the Attorney General, which is to prosecute the judges, to abolish the family court, to repeal the Family Court Act, etc., to repeal everything, and that the families deserve recompense.
She doesn't even know what the hell
and all
she
the violations. And I'm going to give you guys also on here a physical address so that it goes to Judge DeFiore. She's a part of she has started the Excellence Initiative, but there is no excellence, and it's still not happening. I do not see any excellence in what I witness every single day, even with nicer judges like the one I just witnessed now. Okay, actually, we were actually saying he seems to be a little more fair than others. We have the ones that are so bad. Okay, but they're trying to cover their own stuff because, see, they've messed up from the start. They messed up these cases from the start, and now when they're doing their so-called due process, you still don't see jury trials of people's peers there. Okay, there's just a whole gamut of problems and issues that are not, they're absolutely not legal. They're not lawful. Okay, they're not operating the way that any court should absolutely operate. And of course, the family court is the lowest on the totem pole. And it is a circus act. No matter where I go, it is a circus act. It is disgusting. Okay, and I watch these CPS, ACS workers that have no background. They don't have any legitimate, real background.
Look at that bag. That is strong. Man.
In the in children, in having to care for children. This one particular case that I was just watching, I'm going to be repeating myself because I don't know if the sound was working. Basically, is a special needs child, and the judge ordered, because ACS asked, that they don't whisper, and there's specific tonality that the child learns by hearing and speaks by. Okay, now if you're sitting in a 2x4 room observing a family with their child that you kidnapped, and I'm going to go over that word. Then how hard is it, unless you're hard of hearing? And I would have asked the witness, can you hear? How's your hearing? To hear everything that's going on. What's the danger in that? Maybe the child's going to tell you, I'm afraid where I am, I want to come home, I love you. Okay, and they're afraid to say it in front of the hawks that are sitting over them. And so the whole group of them, they have a narrative and a motive to continue to protect their best interest, not the child's, not the families, but their best interest, because they have to continue to cover up all the false allegations that they cause on these families. Now, certain judge I just heard tells a family not to use the word kidnap. But we know very well that it's legal kidnapping, which is actually illegal kidnapping, because no kidnapping is right, okay? But I know that the term that people use is legal kidnapping, but the system is unlawful to begin with. When they steal your liberty interest, when they steal your children, your property, okay? So this is very, very, very wrong, and we need to continue to use the words and protect the families that are suffering right now and traumatized and abused, and what they're doing to these families, and how they're making up more lies and further lies by these narcissists. ACS workers, CPS, and any of the other agencies that work with them are all narcissists. They're filled of narcissists, or they have occasionally some decent people that are terrified because of the system itself and what the system's telling them to do and say. So just remember that. But today, right now, no, she has not shut the courts down, but they are under investigation. They are under investigation. The investigation is pending.
Who?
I need you guys to keep pounding the phone number I placed on here. I need you guys to keep sending in the emails. If anybody didn't receive the sworn affidavit, it's not too late to get it. Keep getting it. Keep submitting your own under oath version, because when the entire state of New York is submitting affidavits under oath on behalf of the same sworn affidavit, we're going to serve it again, by the way. We're going to serve it again now. And this time we're going to get proof of service with it as well, under registered mail. We're going to do that as well. And we have other things brewing right behind the scenes right now. I know there's a large protest occurring in Albany right now. And I know there are some other very great things about to hit the pike that are happening, guys. We have to keep fighting and standing together and keep doing this. Nobody has ever done this before. Rome wasn't built in a day. The Berlin Wall didn't come down in a day. You just have to keep fighting, okay? That's what warriors do. We do not take no for an answer when our children, our families, and our liberties are being violated like this. We do not stop, okay? I do not, let me tell you something about me. I do not get defeated. I keep going, okay? So keep righteously angering me. You keep on doing it, and I'll keep on going, and so will everybody else that's watching. Okay, thank you guys. Power to the people.
Man, so that's fucking hell. That's where that is right now. Man. So yeah. Here's one of the reasons, though, why we did decide to talk about Fran again. And this is over on one of my personal pages, comment sections, which my main account's in Facebook jail right now. Let's see what would make it viewed best. Maybe like this. Let's try this. So, this woman has apparently handed her case over to Francesca and Michaela Walker, whatever her name is. Michaela Walker, I think it is. And, I mean, this is going to go just as downhill as anybody else's. I guess, which I'm going to look a little bit more into this. Let me find it. Okay, for one, this is something that's put together, and I'm guessing she turned this into family court. I don't even know what they're thinking here, but obviously, I guess this case law voided her case. This is that case law. I honestly have no clue where she thinks this has 100% voided her case. I'm not sure who's filling her full of this. This is not related to like a CPS case at all. And this is the correct, and she even says, which can you see it there? Yeah, filed July 9th, 2018. There's the case law, and yeah, July 9th, 2018. Right there's your case law. I can't understand where this would possibly, like, not only is her case, like, I mean, okay, first off, you should never turn in something like this to a court or a judge or an attorney. This is not good at all. This is not a good look. But making it even worse, this has nothing to do with CPS or anything that would void her case whatsoever. This actually had to do with a request from ICANN to the HHS on Human Health Services for vaccination-related research. Like, I really don't understand where they're saying that this case somehow matches up to her child being removed. I'd really like to know how they go through the process of picking out these case laws that they throw into their garbage, because it's impressive. But, and here we got the punish for protecting TV and news, which now it's punished for protecting TV and news. I thought that was pretty cool. Honestly, here, because it's actually hard for me to even see on that screen. Let me go try and find that. I think it was her title that cracked me up. Let me find it. Okay, there we are. Yes, Francesca Amato, CEO and founder, TV talk show host, and investigative reporter, chapter leader, advocate, community educator, and best-selling publisher. I have no clue when she became all this stuff, and now she's an investigative reporter and shit, but apparently that's part of her resume these days. But where is it? Apparently Michaela Walker is part of some new little like E-Clause type CPS scam group, is what I'm gathering. Lawful America. I have not heard much of Lawful America yet, but I do know that Jody here even asked that she wished that they would have spelled her name right. So first and foremost, they're spelling her name wrong because that's how on top of things they are. But apparently Michaela Walker is the president of Lawful America. Actually, you know what? Let's go check that out. Let's switch that over to, no. Suppose we are better like that. The Republic is maintained regardless of the obstacles that face the country or the people. It is necessary for the people to diligently investigate and enforce constitutional law, governmental powers. Click on the presentment tab. What the hell crazy shit are they trying to do? Okay, this looks like a whole nother level of crazy that I don't know. We might actually end this live here, because this looks like a whole other, like this is a whole nother level of crazy. Government draws its power from the governed. When the government oversteps their authority and violates the fundamental rights of the people, it's up to the people to notify them as public servant and they are in violation of their oath of office. We the people are aware of said violation. We will not comply and they do not have the authority to enforce such an unconstitutional act. Click on the arrows above. Okay. Step 1, define your goal. Our goal is to stop the unlawful enforcement of false mandates to vaccinate our children so we'll be denied entrance into our local public schools. We are okay, so Michaela Walker, she's gone all anti-vax stuff. This Michaela Walker, that's the president of Lawful America, she's been in a few scam things. She's done some veteran scam stuff. She's done the Affidavit stuff with David and Fran. Now it looks like she's hopped over to vaccination. So yeah, Walker just hops scam to scam, and she normally hops on pretty quick because she's really fucking dumb. Just really fucking dumb, and honestly can't even keep up any of these charades too long. You're in the next phase of the process, your ideal team, blah blah blah. Yeah, we'll probably do a separate live on these guys because this looks like they put some actual time into their shit. Michael Bean. I've been at Lawful America, yeah. We're gonna play with these guys in a separate one. Alright, yeah, we're going to go ahead and end that there. An article will be put together too for this Fran situation and just helping make sure people know that she shut down the courts. Basically with like all the legal shit that's going on, especially from Field, and then branching off to all these other people, and then Fran and David Jose's participation with Kirk Pendergrass and Chris Hallett. There's going to be more written stuff about this. So there will be a written article out. Currently, up in the description, there is a link that will take you to all the articles on Fran or related to Fran on the new site. So anything that has anything to do with Fran or this group of scam artists, for the most part, is in that link that's up there. There's also a link that you can support these lives and support this work in general, the website, all of that. That's what this goes back to. And anybody, as always, anybody that's helped support this and help keeps this going, you guys are awesome. It's much appreciated. This video will be put on YouTube right after this is done, and again here soon we'll start streaming to Facebook and YouTube at the same time. I'm just building up the YouTube audience right now as we speak, and finally getting a little bit more active with that. I think that's about it. Yeah, I think that's about it. We'll come back to check out Lawful America, hopefully sooner than later. And I appreciate you guys for watching. It's been fun. It's been annoying. I'm gonna go dump bleach in my ears, and I'm going to pretend like none of that happened. Actually, I haven't kept covering Fran. This is the first time I've talked about Fran for a minute. And just to make that clear, I thought I just made that clear, but there's a lot of legal stuff that's going on here. So I'm making sure that all of these people that are part of it, I'm just starting to really lay the groundwork, as I think we're going to start seeing some of these legal actions coming together. And that goes from Field to Kirk to Chris to this whole group, Fran, David, all of these little scam artists. There's legal consequences that's coming. They're honestly pushing this shit too far. Then, not to mention, Fran, her time's running out with her 60-day sentence. So, might as well pick up on that. Yeah. So that's why we did that tonight, and I thank you guys for watching, and we'll come back out and we'll check out Lawful America here in the pretty near future. So until then, I guess lawfulamerica.com. You can go check it out for yourself and see what this lunatic's up to, and we will discuss it later. You guys have a good night. Thank you for watching.